Hi guys, welcome back. It's Caroline here from Cook with Pickle. I just thought I'd pop on and show you what I'm making for tea tonight. I'm just getting things organised because it's one then I can throw together quite quickly later on. So I'm going to make some chicken fajitas. I tend to mix together my own spice mix rather than buying one of those packets just because I can't really get the packets over here and they're really expensive. So I tend to have what I want to put in there anyway. So the main ingredient I tend to use is smoked paprika. I use it in industrial quantities, so that's why I have it in a big tub. And I use a couple of teaspoons of smoked paprika. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of hot smoked paprika or chipotle chili powder, but you could add another kind of hot chili powder if you wanted to. I don't add too much because I don't want it too spicy for the kids. And a little bit of cumin just to give it a little kind of earthy flavour. And then the last two things that are going to go in here are some oregano, a bit of greenness. This is a half teaspoon measure that I'm using, so half a teaspoon of all the other things, 2 teaspoons of the first and half of the others, and half a teaspoon of garlic powder as well. And then I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of olive oil and mix that up into a paste, and I'm just going to stick the chicken in the paste to marinate while summer seems to have finally arrived here. I don't know what it's like where you are, but hopefully we're at the beginning of things starting to settle down and be a bit nicer. So I've just got a bit of paste in the bottom of the bowl there. Oh, I think it froze there for a second. A bit of paste in the bottom of the bowl. And I cheated this week. I bought some chopped chicken because it was on special offer. So this is 500 grams of chicken that's chopped into strips. And I'm literally just going to stir that through the marinade through that. Hopefully this will be enough. I normally do it with a little bit less chicken, but it came in a packet of 500 grams, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm just going to mix it through until the chicken's evenly coated. And then when I do fajitas, I tend to do just peppers and red onion, and I'm going to make fresh tomato salsa and chop up some avocado as well to go with it. So this is the chicken, so you can see it's just evenly coated in the marinade, and that will sit to one side until I'm ready to use it a little bit. So I'll grab the chopping board and I'm just going to chop up a few bits while I'm here. So I've got a few like pieces of pepper that I've got in the back of the fridge, so I'm going to use those up. I've got a few recipes this week that's got peppers in, so I'm just going to use half of one of the yellow peppers, maybe half of this red pepper as well. A huge yellow pepper, look at the size of it. Came in one of those packs of 3. I'm just going to chop it in half. Take the seeds out, and another red pepper as well. Take a couple of bits off of that. So I'm just going to slice this up into kind of thinnish strips, so they're about just between ½ centimetre and 1 centimetre wide. So you want them to be relatively thin so that they're not too crispy, but not so thick. Sorry, relatively thin, not too thin that they go all floppy. Basically, when you my mum said that there's a dodgy internet connection. I think there might be. Hopefully you guys can still see me, and it's not too bad. Otherwise I'll have to film this again another time. So I'm just chopping these peppers up into pieces. I like to have the different coloured peppers, they're all slightly different. I quite like a green pepper, it's quite fresh and not too sweet. But yeah, the sun's come out here today, which is nice. And kids have been in the paddling pool. And all go really, which is good. That's the peppers all chopped up. And then I'm going to chop up a red onion as well. So I'm just going to chop it in half, peel off the outer kind of papery layers plus the first kind of thinner layer of skin, of kind of actual edible onion, as it were. And then I'm gonna slice this up, and I'm just gonna chop it into slices. I keep the onion relatively thin because I'm not a fan of raw kind of onion, basically. So I'm just gonna chop that up into little slices. And this will sit quite happily, and then I can just throw it together in a hot pan a bit later on. Cool. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna put kind of 2/3 to 3/4 probably of the onion with the peppers in a pan, and I'm gonna take this other kind of quarter of the onion. It's quite a big red onion. And I'm going to use this to put into some salsa. So I'm just gonna chop this into smaller pieces. So today I've chopped it into little slices, and then I'm gonna chop the little slices into tiny pieces. And what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna put this red onion into some cold water to soak for 10 to 15 minutes. And the reason I'm gonna do that is that takes a little bit of the raw oniony flavour out of it, and because my kids really don't like raw onion, so that will make the salsa a bit more palatable for them. So I'm going to use a couple of big tomatoes and a handful of coriander to go in the salsa. So I'm going to leave you to go and do that now, and I hope you have a nice evening. See you soon.